This is reading that I actually would encourage you to go back and read a second time. You'll have several broker responsibility questions on the exam. I believe you'll have 4. And with that, I want you to consider really reviewing this permitted and prohibited activities list. I think that could really help you navigate through the exam. But let's start off with who is responsible for who within the brokerage. So the broker is responsible for you as a licensee, as a salesperson. What about unlicensed staff? Well, we've got 2 areas to discuss. One is going to be unlicensed staff that works for the brokerage, maybe an accounting team or someone that facilitates the front office. And you might have other roles, maybe somebody that does advertising and marketing on behalf of the brokerage. The broker is ultimately responsible for their behavior. Just because they've offset those duties to someone else doesn't mean they can say, well, that was my accounting person's error. I hired her and she has a degree in accounting. She should have known better. Not my problem. No, the broker is ultimately responsible for their activities. The second part, though, that I mentioned is what if you as a licensee hire an assistant? Or maybe a transaction coordinator is another lingo that you've heard of someone to help you with your business. What if they make a mistake? Who's responsible for them? Well, the law says that the broker is still responsible for them, but you as the hiring licensee have the ultimate level of responsibility for their mistakes. So what can and they cannot do with these prohibited and permitted activities? I just want you to think, anything that would involve having a license, you cannot put that work on to somebody that doesn't have a real estate license. So let's say you need a termite report done for one of your listings. What can your unlicensed assistant do for you? Can they choose the termite company? Can they negotiate a fee with the termite company? Can they interpret the findings of the report with the seller? Or can they open up and unlock the door? The best answer is they can open up and unlock the door. They shouldn't do anything with creating an environment where they would select a vendor, interpret the findings of that vendor, or negotiate anything on a seller's behalf. So unlock doors and make keys, maybe in that scenario. One thing on this list that I do think is worded a little confusing is when they talk about collecting and holding deposit monies, rents, or anything of value. The law says that you can have someone else help manage the trust account, and you can have somebody that computes commission checks, okay? This is, I think, worded a little misleading, I will admit, even though this is directly from the Iowa Code. This is saying that they are allowed to help manage that account. What this refers to is they're not able to personally hold and collect deposit monies. So if you hire a third-party accountant, ABC CPAs, to do your accounting work, run your trust account books, and figure commission checks, you cannot have that third party hold that money for you. It must be in your trust account as a broker, or you've got to authorize them to have their own trust account that they run. But we can't just all individually have our own trust accounts. It's got to be through a broker, or the broker can direct it to a third party and have authorization with that with the real estate commission. We can't hold those things on our own, okay? So I think hopefully that opens that up a little bit for you to understand that as well. Another thing I want to point out is an agent can never show property independently, including a public open house. The only time, an unlicensed agent cannot show properties independently or a public open house. but an unlicensed agent can host a broker tour where only other licensees will attend.